One day, a lady and her daughter started dancing in the street. They kept going for 2 months straight. Eventually, 50 to 400 more people joined them. And nope, it wasn't because they were so happy they couldn't stop. They were scared, terrified. They thought it was a divine curse. But the truth is even more terrifying than you think. And honestly, science might not give you a satisfying explanation. Let's get into it. Probably mid-July 1518, a woman named Frau Trophäa, we don't know her age, started dancing on the street out of nowhere. She kept dancing for days straight. She only stopped when her body collapsed from exhaustion, but as soon as she woke up, she started dancing again.
Days 1 and 2. Neighbors watched her, confused at first, then amused. Someone dancing for days? But soon, the amusement faded into concern. By days 2 and 3, she hadn't eaten or slept. She just kept dancing. Her daughter joined her shortly after. Her husband, however, didn't join. In fact, he was embarrassed and begged them to stop. Now, I should mention, the roles of the husband and daughter aren't 100% verified, but many historians believe it's true. Think about it. While she was dancing, what was her family doing? Anyway, after 3 to 5 days, more people literally joined. Her friends, her neighbors, people who had just been watching. Almost 34 people were dancing with her at this point. Then, after about a week, the city council showed up. You'd expect them to call doctors, to sedate the victims, to quarantine the street. Instead, they did something so stupid, so bureaucratic, it sounds like a joke. They spent public money to clear 2 guild halls and the grain market. They built a wooden stage for the dancers. They hired professional musicians. They hired strong men to hold up the collapsing dancers, forcing them to keep moving. And they paid fiddlers to play upbeat rhythms 24 hours a day. The city was starving. Bread prices on the street were unaffordable. Keep in mind, this was only for the regular people. The council and the government, they weren't starving. They had stone houses, full bellies. But they used public money to pay for musicians. They built a stage to force them to dance until they died.
Basically, they thought the dancers had hot blood, so they believed the solution was to cool it through exertion. By August, the number grew from 34 to 400. The streets were filled with the sound of drums and the sight of hundreds dancing themselves to death. People were dying from heart attacks, strokes, and sheer exhaustion. Some reports say 15 people died per day. Now, I should be honest, many historians dispute this number. Some records mention no deaths at all, but others confirm it. So take that for what it's worth. And the council? They kept trying to cool people's blood through exertion. Finally, in September, the council realized their mistake. They stopped the music, they banned public dancing, and they forced the remaining dancers to pray at the shrine of Saint Vitus. So, who was Saint Vitus? He's one of the biggest reasons this plague happened at all. 400 people dancing nonstop, all because of a saint.
Saint Vitus was a real person, a Christian martyr from Sicily. Legend says he was thrown to lions. They refused to eat him. He was boiled in oil. He survived until he was finally martyred. And here's the kicker. If you spoke against him, if you worked on his feast day, June 15th, or if you mocked him, you would be forced to dance. uncontrollably. So when people saw Frau Trophia dancing, they thought it was his curse. But here's the question. Why did others join? She was supposed to be the only one punished. So why 400 others? Think of it like this. When they saw her dancing, they believed they were cursed too. Fear made them believe it, and belief made them dance.
Now, let's look at the science behind this event. Scientists believe that for Frau Trophia, it was MPI, mass psychogenic illness, also known as mass hysteria. Here's how it works. The human brain has a limit for stress. When that threshold is crossed, it short circuits. Psychological distress becomes physical symptoms. That's called conversion disorder. And remember, they were starving. Severe famine leads to vitamin deficiencies that can cause confusion, hallucinations, and uncontrollable movements. So what looked like a curse might have been a perfect storm. A starving brain, a terrified community, and a belief so powerful it became contagious.
For the others, when they saw Frau Trophia dancing involuntarily, their brains interpreted it as a threat. Because they believed it was St. Vitus, they got scared. Their brains panicked. And so they started dancing with her. It wasn't magic. It was fear made physical. So if tomorrow someone starts dancing in front of your house, you'll know it's not a curse. It's just a human brain doing what human brains do under pressure.